She's not rejecting you, she's responding to your vibe. Let's clear up a common misconception right from the start. When a woman distances herself, it's rarely about your looks or a single awkward comment. What she's actually responding to is the energy you bring into the interaction. You might think she lost interest because you weren't attractive enough or because you stumbled over your words, but the truth is deeper. She sensed something in your presence, and uncertainty, a lack of groundedness, a vibe that didn't make her feel intrigued, safe, or drawn in. That's what she's reacting to. Think about the way you approached her. Was your posture open or closed? Did your voice carry confidence or did it waver? Did you ask her questions that felt like you were hoping she'd take the lead and make things interesting? Most men don't get rejected for their appearance. They get rejected because women can sense when a man isn't sure of himself. In this guide, I'll break down the subtle psychology behind why so many men lose a woman's interest before the conversation even gets going, and how you can transform your energy into something magnetic, compelling, and unforgettable. Let's dive in. Why generic questions kill attraction? Let's start with the basics. When you approach a woman and open with, "How are you?" Or "What do you do?" or "Where are you from?" you might think you're being polite or showing interest. But to her, these questions feel flat, uninspired, and emotionally empty. Not because they're offensive, but because they lack any real energy. She's heard these same questions from countless men before, and almost every time, they're delivered with the same nervous, uncertain energy, hoping she'll make the moment interesting. Here's the problem. You're putting the responsibility for the conversation on her shoulders. You're asking her to do the emotional heavy lifting. And whether you realize it or not, you're sending a message: "I don't have anything interesting to offer, so I'm hoping you'll give me something to work with." Imagine how that feels for her. Most attractive women are approached regularly. They know the script. They can instantly sense whether a man is leading with confidence or just trying to survive the interaction. When you start with generic questions, she feels like she's being interviewed, not seduced, not invited into your world, not emotionally engaged. And when that happens, she checks out. What women are really looking for: here's a truth that most men never learn. Women aren't looking for a man who asks for permission to exist in her world. They want a man who already stands firmly in his own, a man who knows who he is, who brings energy, direction, and depth into the space without needing anything from her. That's what real attraction responds to. So, if you start a conversation hoping she'll give you something to work with, you've already lost the energy. The key isn't in the questions you ask. The key is in the vibe you create the moment you open your mouth. If there's no spark in your presence, there won't be one in her mind. Either what she's actually scanning for you might think she's listening closely to your words, but that's not what's really happening. She's not focused on the content of your questions. She's watching how you say them. She's reading your body language, your tone, your eye contact, your energy. She's scanning for confidence. She's asking herself, even subconsciously, does this man stand strong, or will he fold the second I challenge him? Is he secure in himself, or is he just trying to impress me to feel accepted? You might be trying to be nice or polite, but if your energy says, "I need you to like me," she'll pick up on it instantly, and it will turn her off just as quickly. Here's the real secret. She's not looking for perfection. She's looking for a man who can lead the moment emotionally. A man who enters the interaction with calm confidence. A man who brings energy, not one who chases hers. When you start with weak questions like, "What do you do?" or "Where are you from?" she doesn't hear curiosity. She hears fear. She hears a man who's hoping she guide the conversation because he doesn't know how to. And the moment she senses that, she disconnects not out of malice, but instinct. Her brain is wired to feel safe and attracted to leadership energy. Not controlling energy, not fake bravado, but a man who stands firm in his own presence, calm, grounded, unshaken. Women are more emotionally attuned than most men realize. They pick up on energy faster than logic. When a man feels nervous, needy, or uncertain, they sense it in seconds. And their desire fades without warning. So remember, it's not about the words, it's about the energy behind the words. If you show up hoping she'll lead, she'll walk away. But if you show up already leading your own space, she'll want to be part of it, the shift that changes everything. What's the solution? It's simple, but powerful. Stop asking, start declaring. Most men open with a question because they don't know what else to say. They think that asking something, anything, will keep the conversation going. But what they don't realize is that questions often reveal nervous energy. They make it look like you're unsure of yourself, like you need her to take the lead. And that kills attraction fast. Here's the fix. Start with a statement, not a question. Say something real, something that shows who you are, something that pulls her into your world. Let's look at a clear example. Weak opener. How are you? Strong opener. I love the vibe in here. It's got that calm after the storm feeling. Makes me want to slow down and just enjoy the moment. See the difference? One is empty and basic. The other paints a picture. It sets a mood. It gives her something emotional to respond to. Only after that, you can follow up with, what do you think of the music? Now, you're not just asking for her opinion. You're inviting her into a space you've already created. A space that already has feeling, energy, direction. Here's the truth. Women don't want to lead the moment. They want to feel something. And when you create an atmosphere with your words, your tone, your calm, you become the source of that feeling. That's when she starts to lean in. That's when she starts to pay attention, not just to your words, but to your presence. Because now you're not begging for her attention. You're holding your own, and that quiet strength is rare. So remember, you don't need to impress her with the perfect question. You just need to speak from your center. Give her something real to feel and let her step into your world, not pull you into hers. How to handle disagreement like a man. Let's say you approach a woman and the conversation is flowing. You feel like the energy is right. Then she says something like, I don't really like this place. This is the moment that separates boys from men. What does the average guy do? He panics. He wants to stay in her good graces, so he quickly agrees, yeah, I guess it's not that great. Why? Because deep down, he's afraid of disagreement. He thinks, if I don't agree with her, maybe she won't like me. So, he gives up his opinion to please her. But here's the problem. When you agree just to avoid tension, she feels it. She knows you're bending yourself to be liked. And instead of feeling closer to you, she loses respect. Here's the truth. No one tells you. Tension is not your enemy. It's your superpower. Tension means there's real emotion in the moment. Tension creates energy, chemistry, unpredictability. It makes her wonder who you are and what you'll say next. So, what does a strong man do in that same moment? He doesn't argue. He doesn't get defensive, but he doesn't fold either. He stands firm with calm curiosity. He says, really? What don't you like about it? Or, interesting. Was actually starting to like it. What would make it better for you? With just one sentence, you keep your position, but you also invite her into the moment. You're not trying to win. You're showing that your opinion matters, and you're not afraid of a little disagreement, That energy makes her feel something much deeper than just being polite. It makes her feel challenged in a good way. It creates spark, mystery, a sense of emotional tension that most men are too scared to create. So, next time a woman disagrees with you, don't panic. Don't switch sides. Don't give in just to make her like you. Instead, breathe, smile, stay grounded in your truth, and show her that disagreement doesn't shake you. Because that is the kind of man she remembers. Real examples that shift energy. Let's talk about how to actually speak in a way that draws her in instead of pushing her away. Most men don't realize this. It's not just what you say, it's how you start the energy of the conversation. If you begin with boring, empty questions, you sound like every other guy. But if you start by sharing something real, you stand out immediately. Here's a common weak example. What do you do? Sounds normal, right? But here's the problem. It puts all the work on her. It makes her feel like she's being interviewed again. Now try this instead. I'm in design. I love building things that people can actually feel, stuff that creates an experience. What about you? What makes your work meaningful? Look at the shift. Now you're not just pulling information from her. You're offering a piece of your world first. You're showing what you value. You're showing depth, clarity, and passion. And then you invite her to share her world too. This creates balance. Here's another example. Instead of asking, "Do you like this kind of music?" try saying, "This song feels different at night." It's got that movie scene energy, like something's about to happen. Or maybe I'm just overthinking it. What's your vibe? That's real energy. You're painting a picture. You're showing your emotions, your thoughts, your mood. Now, she's not just answering a question. She's joining a feeling. That's the difference between surface talk and emotional connection. And here's what matters most. You're not begging for her approval. You're not asking just to get her attention. You're offering a doorway into your world. Not a win. A woman feels like she's being invited into something unique. She doesn't just respond, she remembers you, because you're not just another guy asking questions. You're the man who makes her feel something. Tension equals emotion equals memory. Here's one of the most important truths about attraction, a truth that most men never figure out. Attraction doesn't grow in comfort, it grows in tension. But not just any kind of tension, it has to be the right kind. Emotional tension that creates curiosity, play, and depth. Now, here's where most men go wrong. They believe if they're always nice, polite, agreeable, she'll like them more. They think that if they avoid conflict, avoid challenge, avoid any disagreement, it'll make her feel safe. And yes, it might make her feel safe. But safe doesn't mean desire. When everything is smooth and soft, it becomes forgettable. It feels flat, emotionless, predictable. And no one remembers what's predictable. Real attraction comes from moments that make you feel something. Think about it. The most powerful conversations you've had in life probably weren't the easiest ones. They were the ones that had friction, tension, a twist you didn't see coming. Maybe a disagreement, a moment of vulnerability, something unexpected that hit you emotionally. That's what sticks. Now apply that to your conversations with women. If every word you say is designed to be safe and approved, you may be liked, but you'll never be remembered. Let's take a simple moment. She says, "I hate this song." The average guy, he panics. He changes his opinion on the spot. He says something like, "Oh yeah, I guess it's not that great." Why? Because he doesn't want conflict. He wants her to like him, even if that means losing his own opinion. But to her, that shows weakness. It shows fear. It shows that you'll bend to keep her approval. Now, imagine this instead. You smile, relaxed, and say, "Damn, you're hard to impress." I respect that. What else is on your blacklist? Suddenly, everything shifts. You didn't attack her, you didn't back down. You kept your cool and made it playful. That's small. Spark of tension. It makes her laugh. It keeps her curious. It makes her want to stay in the moment with you because now you feel real. And that's the energy that creates emotional memory. It's rare to find a man who can disagree without becoming defensive. Even more rare to find one who does it with a smile, with play, and with grounded presence. That's what makes you exciting to talk to. That's what makes you unforgettable. So next time you feel that little spark of tension, don't run from it. Lean into it with charm, with calm, with confidence, because that's not a problem. That's the doorway to desire. Adjusting. Intensity for different women now. Let's be clear. This doesn't mean you go full savage with every woman you meet. Not every situation needs high intensity. And not every woman will respond well to strong teasing or playful challenges. At least, not right away. This is where real skill comes in. A powerful man isn't just confident. He's aware. He knows how to read the room. He can sense when to raise the energy and when to slow it down. Let's say you're talking to a more quiet or shy woman. She's calm, reserved, and soft-spoken. If you throw out a bold line like "you're hard to impress," it might feel too much for her. It could push her away. But that doesn't mean you stop being confident. You don't change the strategy. You adjust the delivery. Here's a better way to say it. I like that you know what you like. It's rare to meet someone with a strong mind. Now you're saying the same thing, but with warmth, with respect, with presence. You're still leading the conversation. You're still showing strength, but you're making her feel safe inside the moment instead of challenged too soon. This is not about being fake. It's about being smart. Because attraction isn't just about what you say. It's about when you say it, how you say it, and to whom you say it. It's not a one-size-fits-all game. This is strategy. This is timing. This is awareness. It's about feeling her vibe and responding with leadership, not control. It's knowing when to apply pressure and when to pull back without losing your power. When you start winning, don't collapse. This is where most men fail. Right after they start to succeed, you lead the conversation with calm confidence. You create tension, energy, and interest. She smiles, she laughs, she leans in. Maybe she touches your arm, plays with her hair, or gives you that look that says, "I'm into this." And in your mind, you think, "This is it. I've got her. It's working." But then something changes. You stop doing what got you here. You become too comfortable. You start relaxing your presence. You stop leading with intention. And you start trying to keep her attention rather than continue to deserve it. That's when the energy shifts. Suddenly, she doesn't laugh as much. She looks at her phone. She pulls away, not physically, but emotionally. And you're left wondering what just happened. Everything was going so well. Here's what happened. You started chasing the moment instead of leading it. The same energy that attracted her in the beginning, the presence, the confidence. The emotional leadership, that's the same energy you have to keep bringing. Attraction is like a fire. If you stop feeding it, it doesn't stay warm. It cools down fast. It's not about being perfect. It's not about being funny every second or mysterious all the time. It's about staying present, staying grounded, continuing to lead even after things start going well. Because here's something women feel almost instantly: conditional confidence. She can tell if your confidence was only there to win her over. And now that you've received her interest, you've stopped showing up with strength. And when that happens, the attraction dies. So here's the rule. When she gives you more, you don't give less. You give more presence. You stay focused. Relaxed, but alert. Open, but still in control. Warm, but never weak. Women don't just want to feel good in the beginning. They want to feel like the version of you that sparked their desire is the version of you that stays. That's how you separate yourself from the rest. That's what keeps her coming back. The man she craves in the end. This isn't about clever tricks. It's not about knowing the perfect words to say. It's not even about being the best-looking guy in the room. It's about something deeper. Something she doesn't even fully understand, but always feels. It's about how your presence makes her feel. Not through sweet compliments, not through begging for her attention, but through your quiet energy. Because the truth is, she doesn't want a man who tries hard to impress her. She doesn't want a man who copies her opinions just to be accepted. She doesn't want a man who's always available, always chasing, always afraid to lose her. She wants a man who is already complete on his own. A man who is already living a life that has direction. A man who has peace in his mind and purpose in his heart. A man who doesn't need to be liked because he already respects himself. That kind of man is rare. That kind of energy is unforgettable. He speaks clearly, but without trying to convince anyone. He listens, but doesn't fold. He can connect deeply, but never begs. He can lead not to control her, but to invite her into something stronger than comfort. That's the kind of man who stays in her memory. Not because he followed some dating script, not because he told her what she wanted to hear, but because he carried himself with power, calm, and quiet confidence. So here's your reminder. Stop chasing approval. Stop waiting for signs that you're good enough. Stop thinking you need to impress her with words. Just show up fully present. Speak from a real place. Lead with calm energy and stay grounded in who you are. Because when she feels that, when she feels your strength without arrogance, your calm without fear, your interest without need, she will feel something real, something deep, something that other men can't fake. And once she feels that, no small talk, no soft compliments, no needy attention can compete with you. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be true and unshakably present. That's the man she craves. That's the man you're here to become. Final words if this message resonated with you. If you recognized your old patterns and you're ready to lead with presence, not permission, then it's time to step into your next level. Don't just consume this information. Practice it. Bring it into your daily life. Notice the difference in your interactions, not just with women, but with everyone. Because the truth is simple. You were never meant to beg for attention. You were meant to become the source of it. Summary of key points. She's not rejecting you. She's responding to your energy. It's not about looks or words. It's about the vibe you bring. Generic questions kill attraction. They put the emotional work on her and signal uncertainty. Women scan for confidence, not content. Your body language, tone, and presence matter more than your words. Lead with statements, not questions. Create an emotional space for her to step into. Disagreement is not a threat, it's an opportunity. Stand your ground with calm curiosity and playful tension. Real connection comes from sharing your world. Offer something real. Then invite her to join. Tension creates memory. Don't avoid friction. Use it too creates emotional impact. Adjust your intensity to the woman and the moment. Confidence is about awareness, not aggression. Keep leading. Even when things are going well. Don't relax your presence. Continue to bring energy and intention. Be the man who is complete on his own. She wants to join your world, not rescue you from loneliness, your next step. You're ready to stop chasing and start leading. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being real, present, and unshakably grounded in who you are. That's the energy that draws people in. That's the energy that makes you unforgettable. So, step forward. Speak from your center. Lead with calm, confident energy. And watch as the world responds, not because you begged for attention, but because you became the source of it.